So, I've been playing this little game called Brotato. Now I know, I'm about 50 years late to this trend, but I don't care. I'm not someone that has played these kinds of games before. Roguelikes or roguelites or whatever it is, doesn't really matter. What matters is, this game is fun as hell. I've been hooked on it, trying to unlock new characters and trying to get the difficulty 5 and finish a run. Now, I hear you saying, but Johannes, that game is old as balls, who cares? Well, I don't really know, but I like it, so here goes. I'd like to introduce you to ZomBuddies, which is very much a working title. Imagine this. You are an innocent zombuddy, and yet you are being hunted just for being who you are. What would you do? Well, you would fight back, of course. And what's the best way to do so? Well, pick up that garden shear, vomit up some brain projectiles, and start hacking away. But you can't do it alone. Get some buddies to help you out. Make some more ZomBuddies. More on that later. Let's get into it. Right now, all of the visuals in the prototype are AI generated, but I will be replacing those going forward by a proper 2D artist, which I am not. I'll hire someone, is what I'm saying. Screw AI, but also use it for prototyping, so screw it a little bit, I guess. A quick notice for my regular viewers, I am not abandoning any projects or anything like that. This is just a little distraction for a month or two, as I needed a break away from my usual work. Progress is still going steady with Operator 8 and the Gravebane Curse. More videos will follow up on those in the next few weeks. I recently moved to another province in South Africa where I stay, and so my life has been a little bit of chaos for the last few months, but going forward I will be more regular with this channel. So here's what I liked about Brotato and why I want to make my own version of it. Firstly, the gameplay and the game feel. Brotato is quick, it looks and feels fast, and that is a massive aspect of what it is as an experience. Sure, there are slow builds, but at its core it's a quick game. Also, it's very responsive, and I think that might be the most vital thing in a game like this. Then, the visuals and the theme. The game looks great, but not in the normal way. It has a very unique and distinct look that is super recognizable and pretty nice to look at, even if it has a bit of a grim style. This is really important in video game development and will have a massive impact on making your game stand out. I also love the way progression and rounds work. So, I haven't played many of these games, but I really like this as a mechanic. I assume most of them have it, but maybe not. At the end of a round, you get to pick firstly a character-based upgrade, like speed or attack rate or whatever, but then you also get to choose a new or additional weapon or item. Now, I don't know if I'll do it exactly this way in my game, but I do really enjoy how this works. They also have the ability to re-roll for a fee, which is also something I might do, but who knows. Then the enemies. Now, here are some things that I really like and really don't. There are certain types of enemies, and there are also combined types, as well as bosses and special enemies. There are melee basic enemies that just normally attack. Then you have your ranged that attack from a distance and that sort of give you a little bit of space before shooting you. And then you have your charging, which attack in bursts. I already have implemented these types and will do a similar thing in my game. Then you have your special enemies and bosses that are really hard to kill and have special attacks. The variety is great, but some of them can be a little bit annoying to face sometimes. In my game, I aim to also have a lot of varying enemies, but with a big variety in type and style. You never want it to get repetitive. Then, weapons. The weapons in the game are quite unique and interesting, and also quite refreshing. They're balanced quite well, which is a massive challenge to do in a game like this. You have your melee and range, but Then different types as subsections like sharp or blunt or whatever else. Then there are more general things that I really like too. Some weapons, for example, allow you to do certain things, like a spanner will allow you to place turrets, or some weapons have arcing attacks or special stats or whatever, something like that. Now this generally won't work for my game, but I do think it's worth noting. Now here's my idea for my game and what I want to do to try and improve on this formula. To me, what makes a game like Brotato so much fun is the gameplay itself. The speed, the accuracy, and the feel of it all. I'm definitely going to try and recreate that in the best way that I possibly can, but I want to add new things into the formula and make it my own to an extent. Brotato, and most games like it, go for a very fast-paced and frantic approach, and while I do like that and think it's a lot of fun from a gameplay perspective, I want to do something a little bit different. I want a more controlled gameplay with solid mechanics, yet lots of fun. And how better to do that than with my main mechanic, the ZomBuddies. So the idea is you are the master zombie and you can make offspring simply by killing enemies and turning them into zombies. So like a zombie basically. You'll then have a growing army that will help you defend yourself and make it through levels. The idea is that you have these ZomBuddies and that each of them will do different things to help you in your quest for survival. In a later devlog, I'll talk more about the specific types of them, but for now let me just introduce the idea and some of the basic units I have planned. So we have the biter. This is your typical offensive zombie that will go out and attack enemy units. Quite basic. Then the blocker, a classic shield-wielding type that protects you from damage but doesn't deal any damage. Then we have the sludge, more of a nuisance than anything. It moves around randomly and slows down enemies that come into contact with it. We have a turret, a still-standing zombie that shoots at enemies but can't move. Takes very little damage. Then we have the bloodletter, a healer zombie that supports the player. There might be more, and these might change later on, but this is the general idea for now. At the moment, I'm still working on basics, of course, so there isn't really that much to show yet, but there is a lot more to come. Progress has been really quick on this project so far, and I've only spent about 3 days on it, so it has a lot of improving to do, but I'm also really happy with where it's at. The game will have a lot of the staple design of these kinds of experiences. Rounds with timers that you have to survive, different types of attacks and defenses, a basic inventory system and a basic weapon system, an elemental system that allows for weaknesses and strengths, upgrades that can be chosen at random after each round, a robust statistical character system to allow the player to achieve different builds for different gameplay outcomes. For example, low speed, high lifesteal, or high speed, low damage, or high damage, low collection, or whatever you want to do, as long as a solid balance exists, and much more. The point is, it will have, and already has, to some extent, most of these mechanics. In the next one, I'll talk about some of the systems like the combat, health, and statistic systems in more detail. Stick around to see more on that. After that, I'll probably do a detailed one in enemy units and friendly units and their types. I talked about it a little bit, but there's a lot more to be said, so lots more to come there as well. I really hope you enjoyed my devlog. Follow along for more if this project interests you, and get involved in the comments or send me an email if you have any thoughts or suggestions. I hope to hear from you soon. Thanks for watching. Until next time, keep zombieing.